What if I told you that in every single conversation, every meeting, every single interaction you have, there are hidden forces at play that decide if you win or lose? Most people have no clue these forces even exist. And because they're blind to the game, they're always on the back foot in their jobs, in their relationships, in their lives. They feel stuck. They feel overlooked. They feel powerless. And they blame everything and everyone but the real culprit, their own mind. But what if the game isn't rigged against you? What if you could learn the rules and start using these psychological forces to your advantage? In this video, I'm going to give you 10 psychological tricks that will make you truly unstoppable. And no, this isn't about slimy manipulation. This is about understanding human nature, your own, and others. So you can stop being a prisoner of your own programming and start writing the code yourself. By the end of this, you won't just see the world differently, you'll move through it with a level of confidence and control you never thought possible. So let's get into it. First things first, the bedrock of being unstoppable is realizing your willpower isn't some fixed trait you were born with. It's not that some people are just disciplined heroes and the rest of us are doomed to be lazy. The truth is, self-control works exactly like a muscle. There's a concept in psychology called ego depletion. And while scientists debate the exact mechanism, the real-world result is undeniable. Your capacity for self-control is a limited resource that gets exhausted with use. Think about it. You wake up. You drag yourself to the gym. You resist hitting snooze. You pick the healthy breakfast over the donut. You get to work and force yourself to focus on that brutal project while your phone is buzzing with notifications. By the time you get home, you're wiped. A friend calls to go out, but the couch is calling louder. You swore you'd cook a healthy meal, but suddenly ordering a pizza feels like the only option you'll have left. So what happened? Did you suddenly become a weak person? No. Your self-control muscle is just fried from a full day of workouts. The problem is we treat our willpower like it's an infinite well. We demand it from ourselves from morning until night. And when it finally taps out, we beat ourselves up. We say, I just have no motivation, or I'm such a procrastinator. That kind of negative self-talk is not just wrong, it's actually destructive. You're not a failure. You just have a terrible training plan. The solution? Start treating your self-control like you would any other muscle. You wouldn't go to the gym and try to max out your deadlift for 8 hours straight. You'd burn out and you'd get injured. You do sets and reps, with rest in between. You can apply the exact same logic to your willpower. The Pomodoro technique is a perfect example. You go hard with intense focus for 25 minutes, and then you take a non-negotiable 5-minute break. That break isn't laziness, it's recovery. You're letting the muscle rest so it's ready for the next set. So here's the play. First, figure out the 1 or 2 tasks that demand the most from you mentally. Don't try to conquer everything at once. What are the heavy lifts? Second, schedule your work on those tasks in short, focused sprints with planned rest. Phone in another room, tabs closed, total focus. Then, when that timer goes off, you stop. Step away, stretch, grab some water, look out the window. By training your self-control this way, sprints and recovery, you stop the burnout cycle. You build sustainable, powerful discipline that doesn't quit on you by 3 p.m. You stop being a victim of your own fatigue and become the architect of your focus. This is the first step. Trick number 2 is a mental reframe that goes to war with one of your brain's most primitive habits, the negativity bias. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. For our ancestors, this was a great feature. The person who was constantly scanning for predators and remembered which berries were poisonous was a lot more likely to pass on their genes than the person admiring the sunset. Because of this, your brain evolved to be like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. One tiny criticism can completely erase a dozen compliments. One setback can feel like a total catastrophe. The problem is, we're not running from saber-toothed tigers anymore. But our brains are still running that ancient survival software. That internal alarm system is constantly looking for what's wrong, and it sabotages your confidence and your relationships. You could have a great day, but that one awkward conversation is the thing that's going to keep you up at night. In a relationship, this is deadly. Researcher John Gottman found that he could predict a couple's divorce with terrifying accuracy using a simple formula, the 5-to-1 ratio. For every 1 negative interaction, happy, stable couples have 5 or more positive ones. When that ratio drops, the relationship is on life support. The exact same ratio applies to the conversations that you have with yourself. If your self-talk is a nonstop flood of criticism and doubt, you're creating a toxic internal environment where it's impossible to win. The solution is to consciously fight back. You have to become the bouncer at the club of your own mind. This isn't about fake positivity or ignoring real problems. It's about math. It's about giving the positive its proper weight. So here's your action plan. For every negative thought that you catch yourself having, you must intentionally generate 5 positive counter statements. You think, I bombed that presentation? Wrong. You're going to force yourself to list 5 wins, even if they're small. I made my main point clearly. I handled that tough question well. I was prepared. I know what to do better next time. I had the guts to do it in the first place. At first, this is going to feel awkward and fake. Of course it will. You're fighting millions of years of programming, but you will literally rewire your brain. Second, apply this to your relationships. Make it your mission to create 5 positive moments for every negative one. A real compliment, a thank you, a supportive touch, actually listening, sharing a laugh. These don't have to be huge. A simple, I really appreciate you, is a massive deposit in the emotional bank account. By mastering this 5-to-1 ratio, inside and out, you starve the negativity bias and create a psychological environment where confidence and connection can't help but grow. The third trick is one of the most subtle, powerful forces running your entire life: the mere exposure effect. In short, we like things just because they're familiar. Your brain doesn't automatically gravitate towards what's best for you. It gravitates towards what it knows. It's a cognitive shortcut meant to keep you safe. The familiar path is the one that didn't get you eaten yesterday. The problem? In the modern world, this safety mechanism has gone haywire. It's what keeps you in a job you hate, in a relationship that's going nowhere, and in habits that are holding you back. Your brain confuses familiar with happy. You order the same thing at the restaurant, not because it's the best dish, but because it's safe. It eliminates the risk of trying something new. This bias is the silent engine of a stagnant life. It's why you stick to the same workout or shy away from new people. Your brain is screaming, stay here, it's safe. The unknown is scary. But today, the unknown isn't where the danger is. It's where all the opportunity is. The solution is to weaponize this effect for your own good. Instead of letting it keep you trapped, use it to make growth feel comfortable. You can literally rewire your brain to prefer the things that scare you right now. The key is controlled, repeated exposure. So here's the action plan. Pick one area where you feel stuck or scared. Public speaking, learning a new skill, hitting the gym, whatever. Now, instead of trying to conquer it in one terrifying leap, you're going to expose yourself to a tiny microdose of that discomfort every single day. Fear of public speaking? Don't volunteer for a 30-minute keynote. Start by recording a 30-second video of yourself talking on your phone, just for you. Tomorrow, 45 seconds. The next day, a minute. Terrified of the gym? Your first step isn't a crazy workout. It's just putting on your gym clothes and driving to the parking lot. That's the win for the day. Tomorrow, you walk inside. The next day, you walk on the treadmill for 5 minutes. You see what you're doing? You're making the unfamiliar familiar. You're teaching your brain, see, this new thing isn't going to kill us. Over time, your brain's preference will literally shift. The gym won't be a foreign country. It will be your gym. Speaking up won't trigger panic. It will feel normal. By leveraging the mere exposure effect, you systematically dismantle your fears and expand your comfort zone until it includes your goals. You stop being a creature of comfortable habits and become an explorer who finds comfort in growth. The fourth trick requires no words and no special skills, just the discipline to use it. It is the power of silence. In a world obsessed with noise, with filling every second with chatter and distraction, silence has become a superpower. We think of silence in a conversation as awkward, a void that needs to be filled. But psychologically, a strategic pause does the exact opposite. It creates an atmosphere of control, confidence, and authority. The problem is our own discomfort. You ask a question and get silence. You make a point and nobody says anything. What do? You panic. You rush to fill the void. You rephrase, you ramble, you laugh nervously. And in that moment, you give away all your power. You signal to the other person and to yourself that you are insecure and need their approval. Rushing to fill silence is basically begging, please rescue me from this tension. Leaders and skilled negotiators know this tension isn't something to run from. It is something to use. When you pause after speaking, you do several powerful things. 1, you force the other person to actually think about what you just said. 2, you communicate rock-solid confidence. It takes gut to sit in silence. It shows that you're so sure of your position that you don't need to dress it up with extra words. 3, it creates a social vacuum. The other person, feeling that same discomfort you used to feel, will feel compelled to fill it, often with more information or the exact answer that you were looking for. Here's how to master this. The next time you're in an important conversation, a negotiation, or a debate, practice this 3-second rule. After you make a key point, stop talking. Count to 3 in your head. Fight every impulse to add another sentence. Just hold eye contact and wait. When you ask a big question, ask it, then shut up. Let them be the first to speak. It will feel excruciating at first. Your brain will scream at you to say something. Hold the line. Practice in low-stakes situations. When you order a coffee, pause for a beat before saying thank you. When a friend tells you a story, let a moment of silence pass to show you're really considering it. By doing this, you're building your tolerance for the perceived awkwardness until it no longer feels awkward. It feels powerful. Silence isn't an absence of communication. It's one of the most profound forms. The 5th trick is the most counterintuitive of all, especially in a world that worships the no pain, no gain mentality. In the radical idea that real, sustainable motivation comes from self-compassion, not self-criticism, we've been sold a lie. That to be successful, you have to be your own drill sergeant. That you have to beat yourself up over every mistake. That being hard on yourself is the only way to stay driven. The problem is, science shows this is a terrible strategy. When you hammer yourself with criticism, you're not motivating yourself, you're attacking yourself. This triggers your body's threat response, the same fight or flight system that kicks in when you're in real danger. Your brain gets flooded with cortisol. This creates anxiety, shuts down creative problem solving, and leads to a paralyzing fear of failure. Your primary instinct becomes avoiding the activity that led to the pain in the first place. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's often a mind that's trying to protect itself from the next beating. Self-compassion is the opposite. As defined by researcher Dr. Kristen Neff, it's about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd give to a good friend when they screw up. It's not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about creating the perfect psychological state for growth. Think about it. If a kid fails a test, which parent gets a better result in the long run? The parent who screams, "You're lazy and stupid," or the parent who says, "Hey, this must feel awful. I love you. Let's look at this together and figure out a plan." The first parent creates fear and shame. The second creates safety, resilience, and a desire to get better. Why on earth would we treat ourselves like the first parent? Self-compassion gives you the emotional stability to take risks, because you know that if you fail, you won't be met with the internal firing squad. You'll be met with support. So here's the action plan. The next time you mess up, I want you to run a 3-step play. First, mindfulness. Acknowledge the pain without judgment. Say to yourself, this hurts. That's it. It stops the spiral. Second, common humanity. Remind yourself that failure and imperfection are part of being human. Everyone struggles. Everyone makes mistakes. You're not alone. This kills the shame. Third, and this is the most important part, self-kindness. Actively soothe yourself. Ask, what would I say to a friend I love in this exact situation? Then say those words to yourself. It might be, you tried your best and it's okay to be disappointed. This doesn't define you. What can we learn? By swapping self-criticism for self-compassion, you're not getting soft, you're becoming resilient. You are trading a brittle fear-based motivation for a flexible courage-based one. You become someone who isn't afraid to fail, and because of that, you become unstoppable. So we're halfway through, and if this is already starting to click for you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be dropping content like this all the time to give you psychological tools to win, and you don't want to miss it. So let's get back to it. The 6th trick is a fundamental law of social physics. It's a principle so deeply wired into our DNA, it runs almost all of human interaction. Reciprocity. The rule is simple. We feel a deep unconscious need to repay what another person has given us. If someone does you a favor, you feel an itch to do something for them in return. This isn't just a nice custom. It's the survival code that allowed our ancestors to build trust and cooperate. The problem is, most people walk into every interaction with a what can I get mindset. They are takers. They ask for the referral. They ask for the sale. They ask for your time without ever providing value first. This immediately puts the other person on defense. It makes you just another person in line with their handout, easy to ignore. People who live like this feel like the world is against them because they are constantly failing to activate the most powerful social tool there is. Unstoppable people flip the script. They operate with what can I give mindset. They know that leading with generosity isn't just being nice. It's a strategic psychological investment. They are triggering that deep-seated feeling of obligation. As Robert showed in his book, Influence, a small unsolicited favor can create a powerful desire to reciprocate, often with something far more valuable. The key is, the initial gift has to be given freely, with no strings attached. It has to be real. Here's your action plan. Make it your mission to be a giver of value. This doesn't mean money. Value comes in many forms. Can you send an interesting article to a colleague saying, "Thought of you when I saw this"? Can you give someone a specific, genuine compliment on their work? The way you handled that client's objection was masterful. Can you connect two people in your network who should know each other? Can you offer 5 minutes to help someone brainstorm? Start small, every day. Find one person you can provide value to, with no expectation of return. Give a compliment, share a resource, offer encouragement. You will be stunned at how the world changes around you. Doors will start to open. People will offer you help before you even ask. Opportunities will find you. By consistently applying this, you stop chasing opportunities and start attracting them. You become a center of gravity, and that makes you unstoppable. The seventh trick demands some guts and intellectual humility. It's a direct assault on the most dangerous bias of all, confirmation bias. This is our natural tendency to look for, interpret, or remember information that confirms what we already believe. Your ego hates being wrong, so your brain acts like a biased lawyer, not an impartial judge. It cherry picks evidence that supports its case and ignores anything that contradicts it. The problem is, confirmation bias creates an echo chamber in your head. It traps you in your own bubble, absolutely convinced you're right and totally blind to your flaws. It's why two people can look at the exact same data and walk away more certain than ever that they are on the right side. In your life, this bias is a silent killer of growth. If you believe I'm bad at sales, you will only remember the fumbled calls and forget the closed deals. Confirmation bias makes you fragile. It builds your world on a foundation of unchallenged ideas. And when reality finally comes knocking, the whole thing collapses. Unstoppable people are not afraid of being wrong. In fact, they hunt for it. They know the fastest way to get to the right answer is to find out all the ways they're currently wrong. They don't want validation. They want the truth. So here's your action plan. Actively hunt for evidence that disproves your strongest beliefs. Take a belief you hold about yourself or your business, like my marketing strategy is perfect. Now, for 1 week, your only job is to become a detective trying to prove that belief wrong. You are on a mission to find contradictory evidence. Even better, find a disagreement partner. This is someone you respect, who's smart and who often sees things differently. Take your idea to them and say these magic words. Tell me why I'm wrong. Or, poke holes in this for me. What am I not seeing? And then you just shut up and listen. Don't defend, don't argue, just take notes. You're not looking for a fight. You're looking for your blind spots. When you make it a habit to seek out thoughtful disagreement, you short circuit your confirmation bias. You become adaptable, resilient, and almost impossible to beat because you've already stress tested your own ideas against the toughest opposition. The eighth trick is a truth so liberating it can instantly dissolve massive amounts of social anxiety. It's called the spotlight illusion. This is our tendency to think that people are paying way more attention to us than they actually are. Because you're the center of your own universe. You assume you're the center of theirs too. You think your clothes, your mistakes, and your awkward moments are under a microscope. You spill coffee on your shirt, and your shirt's a giant flashing sign of your clumsiness. You stumble over a word in a meeting, and you're convinced everybody is replaying it in their heads, judging you. The problem is, this feeling is almost entirely an illusion. Think about it. Can you remember what the person standing next to you in line this morning was wearing? Did you notice when someone fumbled their words? Almost certainly not. Why? Because you were too busy being the main character in your own movie. You were worried about how you looked and what you were going to say. Well, guess what? So was everybody else. They are the stars of their own show. You are, at best, a background extra they'll forget in 5 seconds. This illusion is a cage. It stops you from speaking up, from approaching that person, from going to the gym, from taking a chance. It paralyzes you with the fear of a judgment that isn't even happening. The solution is to internalize this truth and use it as your license to act. The second you truly get that nobody is paying that much attention, you're set free. The fear just evaporates. Here's the action plan. The next time you feel that hot flash of self-consciousness, that spotlight turning on you, I want you to do 2 things. First, label it. This is the spotlight effect. It's a feeling, it's not a fact. Naming it robs it of its power. Second, deliberately turn your focus outward. Instead of drowning in your own thoughts, get curious about other people. You'll quickly see they're completely lost in their own worlds. Most importantly, run small experiments. Wearing slightly mismatched socks. Ask a stupid question at the end of a presentation. Watch what happens. The answer? Nothing. Nobody cares. Or if they notice, they forget instantly because they have to get back to the most important person in their world, themselves. It gives you the freedom to act, to fail, to be yourself, liberated from the tyranny of the imaginary audience. Trick number 9 is about becoming the author of your own life, not just a character in a story someone else wrote. It's about seizing control of your narrative identity. Your identity isn't fixed. It's a story. It's a tale you tell yourself to make sense of your past, your present, and your future. And that story dictates the choices you make every single day. The problem is, most of us are living out a story that we didn't consciously write. We get trapped in limiting self-narratives. We say things like, I'm just not a confident person, or I've always been a procrastinator. We say them like they're facts, like our hair color. They're not facts. They are chapters in our story. And when you believe the story, you act in a way that proves it true. If your story is I'm shy, you'll avoid parties, which reinforces the I'm shy story. Your narrative creates your reality. The solution is to grab the pen. You have the power to reinterpret past events and reframe your own character. The events don't change, but their meanings can. A past failure is no longer a chapter called Proof I'm an Idiot. You can retitle it The Fire That Forged My Resilience. A story of pain isn't about being a victim. It's a hero's journey. Psychologists call this redemptive storytelling, and people who can find positive meaning in negative events are happier and more successful. Period. So here's your action plan. First, identify the limiting stories you tell yourself. What are the I am or I'm not sentences that box you in? Write them down. Now, go find the plot holes. For each limiting story, find 3 pieces of counter evidence from your life. You think, I'm not brave? Find 3 times you acted despite being scared. Weaken the old narrative. Finally, the most powerful step. Actively rewrite your story. In a journal, write about key moments in your life, but tell them from a new perspective. How did that brutal breakup teach you what you truly need? How did getting fired open the door for something better? Frame yourself as the protagonist who is growing stronger because of the challenges. Then, turn these new stories into affirmations. Instead of, I'm a procrastinator, your new truth is, I am becoming someone who acts with purpose. You're not lying to yourself. You are scripting your future self into existence. When you change the story, you change the character. And when you change the character, you change their destiny. The 10th and final trick is the engine that powers all of the rest. It's the profound, simple process of leveraging micro wins. We think we have to wait for motivation to strike us like lightning before we can act. We set these huge, terrifying goals. Lose 50 pounds, write a book, build a business, and then we get paralyzed by the sheer size of it. When we don't see huge results right away, we get discouraged and quit. This whole approach misunderstands momentum. Here's the truth that will change your life. Motivation is not the cause of action. It's the effect of action. The feeling of progress is the most powerful fuel on earth. This is called the progress principle. Small, seemingly insignificant wins have a huge impact on your drive because they give your brain a hit of dopamine, the reward chemical. This creates a positive feedback loop. A small action creates a feeling of success, which motivates the next small action. The unstoppable person isn't someone who takes one giant leap. They are a master of taking one small step day after day until they've built an avalanche of momentum. Here's your action plan. At the start of each day, forget the overwhelming to-do list. Identify your one thing. What is the single most important small step that you can take today? If you want to write a book, your goal isn't write the book, it's write 200 words. If you want to get fit, your goal isn't get a six-pack, it's do a 10-minute workout. Make the goal so small it's almost laughable not to do it. The second part is just as critical. Reflection. At the end of every single day, take 2 minutes and write down the answers to 2 questions. What went well today? And what can I improve tomorrow? This is a non-negotiable. By forcing yourself to see the win, you cement that dopamine hit and build your confidence. By asking how to improve, you commit to growth without judgment. This simple habit transforms you from someone who's always falling short into someone who is constantly progressing. These micro wins compound. 200 words a day becomes a book. A 10-minute workout becomes a habit. You stop waiting for motivation and start manufacturing it on demand. So there you have it. 10 psychological tools to shift you from passenger in your own life to an unstoppable driver. We've covered everything from training your willpower, to fighting negativity, to rewriting your own identity, and fueling it all with micro wins. But remember, information doesn't create transformation. Action does. These are not just interesting ideas. They are weapons. Don't try to do all 10 at once. That's a recipe for failure. Just pick one. The one that hit you the hardest. Was it the strategic pause? The freedom of the spotlight illusion? Pick one and commit to it for the next 7 days. Let me know in the comments which trick you're going to put into action first. I want to know what you're going to do. If this video gave you even one new tool, like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content designed to give you that psychological edge. Real power doesn't come from your circumstances. It comes from understanding and directing the forces inside your own mind. Start today, start now, and become unstoppable.